In this short video, we're going to look at adding a group of 3 fractions with different denominators. And the first thing we want to find is a common denominator. It doesn't have to be the least common denominator, it just has to be a common denominator. And what I look at is I know 8 goes into 24, but 8 won't go into 21. If I multiply 24 times 21, I'm going to get a common denominator for all 3. Or I can look at this and find my least common multiple. One way to find the least common multiple is to take your 3 denominators and write them out into prime numbers. So 8 has a prime number. Her prime numbers are 2 times 2 times 2, because 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. 21 is 3 and 7. And I leave spaces because I kind of want to line everything up. And 24 is 3 times 8, or 8 times 3, so I've got my 3 2's, and I've got my 3. Now, we don't want to add them together, but I want to have a 2 or 3, whatever, for every column. So I have a column here of 2's, so it just comes down as 1 2. Because 8 and 24 have 2's in common, have actually 3 2's in common. So I only need to write it one time to get my least common multiple. 21 and 24 have 3's in common, so I only need it one time. And 21 has a lone 7, so it has to come down. So I write them in columns just so I know, okay, this pairs up, and I've got 1. This one, they've got them in common. So then I multiply these together, and then they get to be, or that gets to be my common denominator. So 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, times 3 is 24, times 7 is 168. So I've got a common denominator of 168. So then I can look. To get 168, I'm going to multiply 21 by 8. Because it's missing the 3 2's. That's the only thing it's missing, is the 3 2's. And again, whatever I multiply on bottom, I have to multiply on top. Now 24 is the 8 times the 3, so I have to multiply it by 7, because the only thing it's missing is the 7. In 8, it's missing the 3 and the 7. It's got the 3 2's, but it doesn't have the 3 7's. 3 times 7 is 21, so I have to multiply it by 21. So I know my denominator now is all going to be 168, because that's my common denominator. So now I have to do 8 times 15, and I'm going to get 120, plus 8 times 7 is 56, plus 3 times 21 is 63. And then I want to add those 3 together. 120 and 56 is 176, plus 63 is 239, over 168. So then I'm going to check what goes into both of these. Anything? They're not even, so 2 doesn't go into both of them. 9's divisible by 3, but 3 won't go into 168. I can use my calculator and try 17, but 17 doesn't go into 239 evenly. So I could use a variety of these, because that's the only thing that's going to go into 168. I could also tell it's not going to go into 17 because I don't have 17. So this would be my answer. Okay, same thing here. I've got 8, which we know is 2 times 2 times 2. 16 which is 8 times 2, so I'm going to have 4 2's, and 21, which is 3 times 7. So again, I've got a column of 2's, I've got a column of 2's, a column of 2's, here's another column for a 2, a column for a 3, and a column for a 7. That's the reason I like to line them up. So I have 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 3 is 48 times 7 is 336. So my common denominator is 336. And so to get 16, multiply by 3 and 7, because I've got the 4 2's. For 16, it's missing a 3 and a 7. So I'm going to multiply it by 21. I have to multiply the 5 by 21. Okay, so 8 times, so 8, I need a 2, a 3, and a 7. 2 times 3 is 6, times 7, that's 42. So I multiply the 8 by 42, so I have to multiply the 2 by 42. And then the 21, I'm missing the 16, so I've got to multiply it by 16. Because the 21 has the 3 and the 7, but it doesn't have the 4 2's. So 5 times 21 is 105. So again, I know my common denominator is 336 because that's what I just worked on there. 2 times 42 is 84. And 1 times 16 is 16. So when I add these together, 105 plus 84 gives me 189 plus 16 gives me 205. 336. And that is my final answer.